Morning and welcome to the channel. Let me just say something before we start this one. Whoever it is that turned the heating off, please go and find the remote and turn it back on, because it is absolutely freezing, as cold as a snowman's butt cheek. And ideally, with this weather, today's video would be a diesel heater install, but it's not, because we've got a few issues and problems that we need to deal with. Oh, wrong button. You see, it looks quite nice at the back, but the front of the van is in a little bit of chaos. There's a lot of things missing out of here, and here's where the problem lies. See, those things that are missing are inside the homestead, along with a number of other things. Half a van's worth of insulation, the roof that's not been installed, multiple electric wiring, boxes everywhere. And the thing with that is, I've been warned, if we don't hurry up and start getting some of that stuff out of the house, it's going to end up in the lawn at the back. And I have to kind of agree, because at the minute, trying to move around the house resembles a Mr. Beast game show obstacle course. It's a little bit difficult. So, we need to push forward and do some more work in the van. And today's a good one. Because I would at some point like to get a diesel heater actually installed in the van. But there's one main thing I need before I do that, and that's some form of electrics. And all joking aside, I'm particularly excited about this one, and I've been waiting quite some time to get it sorted out. I'll show you what I'm talking about later, but invariably, because we're going to do some work on the van today, we first need to go and buy some more tools. Oh, let's go down to tool station and see what we can find. Well, I'd like to say, finally, some decent tools. I've bought a half decent crimper and a half decent wire cutter. The reason being, I was making cables up last night, and the Halford set I've got was a joke. Ideally, I would have bought these from eBay or Amazon and probably got a little bit better for a lot less price, but as needs must, we want them today. So here we are, but finally, yeah, decent tool for what we're doing. Although at the minute, we're doing nothing because we just sat in the crib. So let's get back to the homestead and I'll show you the plan of action for today's proceedings. Or maybe I should say mission, because it's probably going to be. It's quite a big one. Finally, I'm going to be putting lighting into the van. I'm not going to be putting the roof up yet, just the lights into situ and wiring them all up so they actually work. And I think our best angle of approach or attack is to start from the front and work our way back. So I think because we're hooking up electrics, it's about time we fitted one of these. I think it's called a mega fuse, a 60 amp fuse between the car or van battery down to the charger one. And I've got this to hook it up with. It's a 16mm 6 AUG. I think it's marine cable, and it's tin copper or tin plated copper, which is exactly what we need. I didn't make it myself. I bought it from Halfords for £7. It would have cost me almost that just for a metre of cable, so it wasn't worth the bother. The thing is, we've never done this before, so let's hope I don't blow myself up. But in terms of positioning, I think I'm going to go with that. I was considering possibly having it up here or here somewhere, but I think that might be a little bit tight. I think we can stick it on here and it should be right. It is a little bit flimsy this, but it's certainly not going anywhere. Well, this is a bit of a nightmare. I thought I was going to be able to avoid doing anything here. I'm not sure I am. This doesn't quite close properly, and I think the reason is because this connector here is not good enough. I think I'm going to have to redo it. I'm just hoping that this lug I've got here is the right size. I'm not entirely sure if this is 16mm cable. This is what came with the charge of 1. I guess we snip it and find out. Trouble is, if that's not the right lug, we're going to be on pause mode for this build at the minute until I can get the right one. Nightmare. Oh well. No backing down now. Oh Jesus. Stay where you are.
Yeah.
Got it. Watch fingers. There we go. And that should be it.
Is that gonna be tight? Is it tight?
I don't like it.
Oh, bloody hell.
No. Morning. You know when you say something and as it's coming out your mouth and off your lips you feel like you probably shouldn't say it because you might be cursing yourself? Well, yeah, that's exactly what happened last night. And in one way it's a complete nightmare, but it also gives me an opportunity to sort of explain the complexities, difficulties and infuriating levels you can get to when you're trying to do a van build for the first time with no prior knowledge. You see, that cable we cut last night was what's known as a 6-auger cable, and normally they're a 16mm squared cable. The 16mm squared is actually like the fibres inside, not the actual housing or sort of sheath around the outside. And uncommonly some people sometimes will use a 14mm squared cable, which is what that was. Now the reason I cut that cable is because I wanted to get that off. That's a ring connector and I wanted one of them on the end, a normal lug. As you can see, it's got a flat edge and it fits way better in that mega fuse. But unbeknown to me, trying to get one of those lugs to fit a 14mm cable is virtually impossible, except for some very specialist places throughout the UK, a handful of. It's essentially not a common size, and nor is a 14mm cable. Everybody uses 16mm. And after 2 hours of searching on the internet, I was starting to pull my hair out. So I figured I'd try and use a 16mm lug on a 14mm cable. Now it does say, if you do an internet search, that you should be using the exact size for the cable you're using. But some of these connectors are like the ring connector, will have a gap here along the ridge or the length of it that squeezes together. So they're not specific for squared millimeter cables, they're more specific for augs of cable, i.e. 2, 4, 6, 8. So one of those for a 6-auger cable should fit either 14 or 16 squared cable. The lugs on the other hand are absolutely specific, which is why they have numbers printed on them. A 16 for a 16 and a 14 for a 14. But like I said, I thought I'd try my luck with a 16-auger lug. The only problem is, one 16mm lug is not the same as another one. And this is worth of note because I bought these from eBay, or maybe it was Amazon, but not an official place. And basically, they're cheap, crappy Chinese lugs. That's the Chinese one, and that's the one from the Saviour 12-volt Planet. And you're not going to be able to see, but the thickness of the Chinese one is half of the 12-volt one. And the more important factor is, disgustingly, where the cable goes in isn't the same size. The cheap one from wherever is a lot bigger than the one from 12-volt Planet. So when I crimped that on last night, thinking it was the right size or just about, it just slipped straight off. 3 hours of trauma later, I realised I got some from 12-volt Planet, tried that, and it fits perfectly, and it's not coming off. But yeah, I think we just ticked off another learning curve box. If you're going to buy connectors, cables and bits, spend a bit of money and buy the quality ones. The cheap ones are crap. Oh, and one last random thing with this that made me sort of giggle and question, and you're not really going to see, but that ring connector has got a hexagonal crimp around there. Perfect straight edges. which is what I thought I'd get with my new funky tool. Look, it's hexagonal where you crimp it together. But no, what I get is that. It's dead smooth, it's round, and then it's sort of squeezed the metal together at the top to create a little ridge. Why is it not hexagonal like that? Everything ends with a hex. But I guess only if you've pre-made it from BLUETTI. What the hell are they using to make that? That's incredible. I wish mine looked like that. The mind boggles. But more importantly for now, I'm going to get that super fuse, mega fuse thing finished. I've already crimped a thing on the end. I've just got to hook it all up. And then we can move inside. Something like that. That'll go. I'm gonna say, I don't know if my butt's getting weaker or whether these things are genuinely getting a little bit heavier, but I can't tell you how happy I am to see that in here. The one and only BLUETTI Apex 300, and it weighs a sizable 38 kilos. And I will, in a minute, tell you all about this Apex 300. But first, I think what we'll do, because we've got all this gubbins, is perform a little test bench. We don't know what we're doing. We've never done it before. We don't know if it's gonna work. So I think our best angle of attack is to take these ridiculously small 2 centimeter LED lights, snip the end off that, and see if we can get it working with the Apex 300. So I'm not going to say too much. Suffice to say that there is a Lux 5 connector that's very specific to these Hafele lights, and I've just spent the past hour and a half trying to find those connectors somewhere local, and you can't. They are available on eBay, but that's a 3 or 4 day wait, and we don't have time. Possibly shouldn't have done that. Hey ho. So I'm not entirely sure how the hubby works with the Apex 300, but I'm assuming you just turn it on, and then I guess a few seconds later that'll kick in. Oh, it's actually got an on-off button. I didn't know that. That's legend. Oh, that's brilliant. Now that's on. We've got power on the fuse board. Oh, no power on the light. Oh, shit. What? Damn it. I don't know why not. Maybe it's that switch. Maybe it's the light. Oh mate, I really hope that was just going to suddenly light up. It's pretty disappointing. Oh crap. I forgot to put the fuse. Right, I'll put a 5 amp fuse in there. I figure it'll be enough if we've not done any damage already. I think the equation is watts divided by volts equals the amps. So these are 1.5, I've got 6. Eventually I'll be running at 9 watts divided by 12. I don't know, it's about 0.75. I think the blue fuses are a 5 amp, so it should be enough. I might put a yellow one in for a 7.5 later, but let's see if it works. Oh shit, man. Oh my god! Yes! Oh, it flickered and I thought it had blown or something. Oh man! Oh, yes! I fucking did a thing! Oh, it's so good! Oh, this is like, okay, this is supposed to be a dimmer. So let's see what we got. Dude, it dims. Wow. Oh, I don't know. It does a bit funky, but I'm guessing maybe I have to peel the sticker off. Oh, that works. Wow, look how bright they go. Oh, I'm so chuffed. I'm speechless. Afternoon. And yes, I've still got a smile on my face, and not just from the lights last night. No, more specifically this afternoon, I've got a smile on my face because of this. And let me sort of explain or paint a little picture before I tell you about this, because for many years I've wanted a camper van or a van that I can convert, and for all those years of thinking about getting a van, there's one thing I wanted to do when I got it, and that was try and power it with a power station. And over the past few years there's been a couple of free models that have come out specifically from BLUETTI that have tried to sort of bridge that gap between the power station and the powering of van. The problem with those is, even though they integrate straight into a fuse board with just a cable, they only output at 12 volt between 20 and 30 amps, which is okay, but it's not really enough. When you start running diesel heaters and lights, fridges, AC units and max air fans all off that, it's going to overload it. There are ways around it, but it's generally a little bit janky trying to get it work. But over the years I've still lived in hope that at some point there'll be a power unit that comes out that will do exactly what we need in terms of linking it into a van build. And a few months ago, BLUETTI answered my prayers with this, the Apex 300, and specifically the Hub D1 that goes with it. So I think what we do is go over it quickly, and then I'll show it you in use and how good it is integrated into the van build. But straight off, the one reason is this: that Anderson cable to the fuse board now outputs at 12 volt at 50 amps, and it'll run a total of 700 watts off that 50 amps as well. So no longer is there an issue with running all your stuff in a van off a power station. Okay, so straight off the bat, you're going to notice this is not a normal looking power station. There's no 12 volt sockets, there's no USB ports. All you've got is 4 240 outlets, which run at 16.7 amps, split between the 4 and a 13 amp max on each one. And the reason for that is because this has been designed for doing some particular jobs. First off, it's built to integrate into a house system, or basically run a whole house. You can daisy chain 3 of these together to give you a maximum wattage output of nearly 12 kilowatts. I don't know what you'd be running in your house to max that out. It'd be ridiculous. And then daisy chain 9 batteries together as well. But more specifically for us, the other thing it's been built for is for integrating into RVs or camper van builds. And BLUETTI have really taken it to the next level with this, because the LiFePO4 battery in here is a specific automotive battery, which allows us to now recharge this thing from EV charging stations using one simple port on the side. So you could literally have a port on the side of your van, link that into it, and then charge it at an EV station or on a campsite. So let's briefly just go around the model. EV charging port, this is an AC charging port, and it will charge up to 3 kilowatts an hour, so you can literally recharge it all from 0 in about an hour. It's got a circuit breaker and you can earth it to the van. But on the other side, it's obviously got your expansion port for batteries. This is where the Hub D1 plugs into, and basically if you plug another battery in, you then plug the Hub D1 into that battery. And then on this side we've got 2 ports, one that you can use to plug the charger 1 into, and another one to plug the solar power into, or your panels. And amazingly now you can actually run them both at the same time. Also, worthy of note, on the side it's got openable sort of panels so you can clean the fans out inside. And then on the back It's got all your specs, but it's also got 4 sort of pinpoints, which I'm assuming is going to be for some form of bracket. I doubt you're going to do that in the van, but if you had it in a house system with 3, maybe there's a reason you'd do that on a rack or something. On the front, like I say, it's a little bit limited. You've got 3 sort of settings for charging. Eco, which is going to be really slow, or rather slower and quieter. Auto, which is normal, and then a turbo as well to max it out. You can also set the unit to run sort of eco-friendly as well. And then an AC sort of power switch for your sockets. And then finally you've got this magic button, which can essentially just be programmed using the app to do things like setting it to recharge on eco mode. You can have a child lock on it and a few other sort of basic features. And for those of you that don't know, the reason I like these power stations so much is because everything you see in a normal van build is in that box. DC to DC charger, solar charger, EV charger, inverter, bus bars, the whole gubbins, all the wiring and more in one easy to install box. Then of course we have the actual magic button or box, the Hub D1. This bracket will come off somehow, and you can actually get a plate so you can fit it to the wall if you wanted to, which I might consider doing at some point. Not only is it because it's going to make it look tidier, but also it gives you access to all these. 2 USB-Cs, 2 USB-As, and unusually, not 1, but 2 12-volt sockets. And that's the thing with all this. You can have a multitude of different appliances and power sources running at the same time. And it's got a fair bit of whack to run it all. It's got a 2,700 and I think that's 64 watt battery, which is nearly 3 kilowatts, and it'll output at nearly 4 kilowatts as well, 3,800 odd. So you literally can run everything, including your induction cooker, on max power and not have to worry about it. Which I think, to show you this in full effect, is what we'll do. We'll plug a number of little gubbins into it and not try and blow it up, but let's try and push it and see what limit we can get it to. Starting with this, the infamous diesel heater. I mean, that's the one thing that you can't really run in a van without it being properly installed. Power station won't run it, 10 amps, and it blows out normally. Good news, we've got to make a cable up.
Better get about my way. This is the start of a new day. Feel fresher than toothpaste. Singing out, this be the new thing. New swing set. I'ma go for the loop, man. I'm a fruit gone loopy. That's the same with the dude.
Right, we've got everything we need just about, except for solar, because it's gone dark. But brace yourselves, because this is a little bit chaotic in terms of electricity, and I do believe somewhere in here there's possibly a flux capacitor. It has remnants of my bedroom as a kid, with computers and stereo equipment everywhere. And there's definitely a recipe for disaster, because at some point we've got a tin of beans to warm up. But I think what we'll do is slowly start going through things, plugging them in, turning them on, and seeing what happens. Starting with the diesel heater. I hope there's no cables near anything hot. Okay, let's slowly work our way through it. Fuse board to hub D1. Hub D1 plugged in and turn that on. Right, so we've got power on the diesel heater and we've got power on the light. I'll turn that off so it don't heat up. It's nice to see I've learnt from my mistakes and actually put a 20 amp fuse on the fuse board this time. Seems to work. Wow, that's kicking off some real power as it's kicking in. 214 watts on the DC. Crikey, that fuse is enough. Oh, actually saying that, that's got probably going to be partly due to that. 105 recharging at the same time. So it is only kicking 105 out on the diesel heater. Perfect timing. We're going to need an assistant for this next step. There's no way I can do it all and not burn beans. Let's plug in the induction cooker.
Which one? Any?
Not that one.
Oh, which one? That one?
Yeah. Oh dear. And then press the AC button. Can't take the child lock off. Oh my god, it's childproof. Okay, we're good. I think we'll set it to number 4 and off you go with your beans. I think also 4's not enough. Let's get it right up there. What does it go up to? 9. Let's see what 9 does. Oh my days, I'm quite scared. This is the thing with it though, you haven't got to be scared. 3,800 watts this will suck up to. So it's 1,700 at max on an induction cooker. I actually thought it'd go to more than that. I'm surprised. Brilliant. Imagine that, 1,700 watts with a full-on induction cooker on full power, and then you still run everything else in your van. That's nuts. What a piece of equipment, seriously. Like, why would you even consider messing about with all your gubbins of leisure batteries these days? And also, here's the maddest thing, BLUETTI have just released a 5 kilowatt battery that'll plug into that. So you could have 8 kilowatts in a van. I don't know. I'm not sure you'd ever need any more than that. Right, while our assistant stirs the beans, let's plug in the charger 1 and I'll show you it recharging while it's discharging. And I've already taken the liberty of plugging it in and setting it to 56 volts. Also, have to say, quite a huge moment this, because I've plugged all that in with the meg fuse or super fuse, and I haven't actually tried the charger 1 since, so fingers crossed this works. Luckily, I've still got my better key. Oh my days, this is a disaster. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay, hang on. Wait, I need to position myself. Oh my god, somewhere around here. Oh, it's the switch. Oh, we got green light and nothing blew up. That's a nice thing to see. And it's working. 480 at the minute. Charging in. Wow. Okay, so excuse the Dirk Diggler glasses, needs must, but I think the best way to show you or sort of look at what's going on with all of this is on the apps. Wow, and that's quite a little screen to look at. So PV coming in, which is the charger 1, yeah, 578. Obviously you could have it plugged into the grid as well, AC port in your house at the same time. And then we've got the outputs, AC 160 and a DC also. And then somewhere in here there should be, I can't really see it, that's why. Yeah, okay, there should be some settings. Oh, my screen recorder was in the way for the Hub D1. So somewhere down here, advanced settings maybe. Yeah, okay. Wow, you can set the grid input, but you can also set the DC output to 24 volts if you've got an RV that's running 24 volt system. Also looks like they've got the child lock setting in here as well. That's pretty good actually, isn't it? If you've got kids in your van and you don't want them touching the actual power station, you can set it up to do so. I have to say it, all in all, an amazing bit of kit for any van build out there. With all the simplicities of just installing it and all the complexities of what it can do. I'm sure those beans are burnt. I'll leave a link in the description where you can go and check it out. And at the minute they've got the Black Friday BLUETTI deals going on, 56% off certain things. But this particular Apex plus the Hub D1 plus the Charger 1 is at a really decent price at the minute. So if you're in the market for thinking about one, now could be the time. For now, let's get all this gubbins tidied up and let's try and get these lights at least set up in some sort of test base on the roof. So over the last few weeks and the last few sort of van build episodes, I've been working quite hard to try and get to a particular point, and putting these lights in is that point. I know it's all going to need very much tidying and fancying up, but once that's done, the van's in some sort of semblance to use. Admittedly, we still need a diesel heater, but here's the thing, doing the floor and some of the insulation and the electrics in the front with the battery and a few other bits over the past few episodes has been a little bit challenging. and we've had issues, but we've managed to work it round it. Now, this particular job that I'm doing on this episode has been very traumatic from start to finish. For you guys, it's only an half an hour episode-ish. For me, it's been 7-8 days of quite a lot of stumping blocks, headaches, and late nights trying to work it out. It should have been a really simple job, but it just hasn't gone that way. And then to top it off, the worst of it really is the final bit, the lights. I've absolutely kicked myself in the foot here with this cable. This is 2mm squared cable, and as a lot of you will know, generally you'll use up to 1.5mm cable for doing lighting in a van. I thought I was being clever and I'd buy something a little bit thicker so the voltage wouldn't burn out on the cable or something. And as a lot of you will know, the 2mm cable fit the blue sort of pluggy things here, and anything smaller fits on red, and they don't go together, which in turn has given me endless headaches because I can't link anything together. The cabling on these lights is ludicrous. I'd love to know, do normal LED lights for vans come with 1.5mm cable? Because this is probably about 0.6 or something. It's absurd how thin it is, which in itself has created massive problems trying to crimp it to a little spade connector. On top of that, the 2mm cable we've got is also struggling to go into the switch here. And I have tried to get some 1.5mm cable so we could do the job properly right here and now, but because it's the weekend, I haven't been able to get hold of it. So what I'm going to do, yet again with one of these jobs, is just put 4 lights up for the purpose of this video to see if it works, and then later on we'll come back and we'll tidy it up properly. But let me show you how I'm going to do it first anyway, because I'm going to be running my lights in parallel as opposed to series where it links from light to light, because from what I've heard, if you link them in series, the first one will be bright and then they dim as you go down the chain, whereas in parallel each light will have the same amount of power, therefore the same amount of brightness. And excuse the crudalities of my drawing, but this is how it worked. From the fuse box to the switch, both the negative and the positive cables, and then they will all run to the final light here, and then pretty simply each light is going to hook in to the cable that runs around. So the negative will go to the negatives and the positives to the positive. And to make all this magic happen, we're going to be using these. These are a T-cut wire connector, and essentially what they do is exactly what they say on the tin. It's got a little metal bit in there which actually cuts and crimps into the wire when you ram them shut, or close them shut should I say, with a set of pliers, and they work perfectly, so they only cut just into the actual tin copper sort of wiring. And then from there I can take my light with a couple of spade connectors on the end, and they'll just hook straight in, one for the negative and one for the positive. And I've taken the liberty already of hooking up all these lights with connectors, so it should all work swimmingly. Well, it's 1 o'clock in the morning and I've been at it for 7 days. Let's see if they work. I've got 2 at the front and I can feel the glow of the 2 at the back. Oh my days. Oh yeah, working. Wow, and that's just the lights from the van now. I've just switched everything off. That's definitely enough light in here. I think they're on max at the minute. There's 10 different settings with that dimmer switch, and obviously there's 2 more to go as well. It looks a mess and it was chaotic, but I've learnt a hell of a lot, and I'm kind of glad I've done it as a test bench in a way. I think if I'd have had the right cable straight off the bat, I wouldn't have learnt as much, and I probably would have fragged it up quite a few times with the whole thing. I guess we'll find out in a few days or a few weeks when I do that. And I should say I'm a little bit disappointed because I had wanted to have it with 4 lights like this, but I wanted it to have it in a panel here with the fuse box and the switch set up, so it just looked a little bit more tidy and professional for the end of this video. But I think we've spent enough time on this for now, and I'm quite happy. We've legitimately got an electrical system in the van, one which is actually running a diesel heater. Okay, it's not installed in the van, but it is plugged in and blowing hot air in here, which is mad because I think it's about -3 degrees outside and there's ice setting on all the other vehicles, but not mine. I'll be honest, I don't know whether the next video is going to be another van video or whether I'm going to jump in the crib and drive off for a week or so. There's a particular spot that I wanted to get to for a number of years at this time of year for something, so we'll just have to see how we go. For now, I really hope you've enjoyed coming along with this kind of wild journey to get all this sorted. We're getting there, and in a year's time we'll look back on this and wonder how the hell I didn't kill myself trying to do it all. For now, take care of yourselves, big love, and stay stealthy, and I hope to see you in the next. And then there was light. Yes.